Is that shit centered correct? Yes. Yes, it is. This shit don't want to work. Do it. Alright. The unfortunate thing for me at the current moment is I can't see any of the fucking data on the stream. Assuming this is the chat. Got it all scrunched up on my screen. I'm gonna have to enlarge it. What the fuck was I gonna do? Okay. This is going to be a toughie. I think what I'm gonna do on my end, because I am planning on writing, all I need to do is to be able to see the chat. I don't really need to be able to see myself. What the fuck am I doing? No. Did I redo this one? Okay. Regardless, I will begin here. Battles, conflicts, races, scripts. Get off my screen, please. Thank you. Go, Rick. Hi. Good evening. I hope your evening is going better than mine. Not that mine's going bad, I'm capping. It ain't going bad. I just can't sleep. I am from Texas. Yes. I am not bald. Can you see my... Let me... I'm not bald. Damn. You know what? I don't know how to respond to that. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not bald, I hope. I hope I'm not even balding. But, you know, as much stress... stress makes you bald, right? Yes. Look at, Good Obama. It is a guitar. I'm not gonna play music, I'm sorry. It's not the intent here. I simply couldn't sleep and I didn't want to waste time thinking. It is a guitar though. I do play guitar. I'm pretty bad. Just joking, I'm not that bad. I just don't spend too much time learning music as opposed to just like jamming. Canada. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh Canada, oh Canada. Nah, I'm not in a band. Never have been in a band. Always solo. I dabbled in producing for a while. On Ableton. I lost my I lost my laptop and I lost my login. So therefore I lost Ableton and I don't have the login, so sad. I'd have to buy it again and it's like expensive as hell. I'm sleepy. I'm not gonna what's the word? Damn. I'm not gonna condemn myself. That's all I can think of. I'm not high. Never have been high in my life. No, I'm writing a little book right now. Obviously, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I didn't think of the need for this many comments to reply. For the production things, shit. I did a mix of a lot of things. Predominantly how I got into it was rap, right? Just cuz hey, I remember 2016 and the good old days, SoundCloud rappers. I was like, you know what, let me give it a shot. And well, it didn't work. And then I was like, you know what, I need to learn how to play instruments. Because that's like the one thing I'm bad at in producing is music theory. And I was like, you gotta feel music theory. And then Farmer Macy? You've stumped me, sir. You've stumped me indeed. EQ is almost probably the most important thing, though. If you can mix and master the sounds to where they're not clashing with each other, you've done a good job. I look like a Morgan Wallen fan. I think I've heard a few of his songs. I'll be honest, I haven't gotten into recent country. There's always that kind of outlet. Some my shit almost crashed. I can't even move my cursor. Never mind. I got it. Fixed it. Lyrics are probably, probably the hardest aspect to music. I was always more inclined on the vocal and lyrical side. That's what really struck me. I didn't even like music really until, I don't know, middle school, because I didn't understand music. And it just sounded, I would just listen to the words. I like music, don't get me wrong, but I would just listen to the words rather than listening to the music, which is amazing too, because my brother is a musician. And I'd always hear him play, and I'd always be like, you know what? That's some black magic. You're doing black magic. You're seeking into frequencies that I don't even know. And then I figured it out. What up, what up, what up, what up? Why does cows stand? I don't even... Because it lactose? Because it lactose? They have hooves. Hooves are good enough for me to be toes. That's what I gotta say. Yeah, but I'm trying to be an author. Someone asked me that. I ain't trying to be an author. I'm capping with you. Nah, you can't. I ain't gonna moderate nothing, but I'm not gonna say that out loud. I just had motherfucking surgery. What you think of that? The surgery sucks. I just had some little chunk taken out of my face. I don't like anesthesia. I used to like anesthesia. I've been under a few times. Oh my lord. Something about it make you feel dead inside. The first time I went under too, it was such an amazing thing. I was like, wow. I just woke up and then now I'm here. I mean, I went to sleep and now I'm back. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, I think as far as music goes now, it being the world being such a I don't even know how to speak. Um, you need to know how to use technology, right? All that stuff. I think my favorite thing too is just plugging in my electric guitar and just fucking letting that bitch go like crazy. Um, of course, I'm sure a lot of people around me do not appreciate that. I'll let you know. I don't really care. Noises got to be made, and I'm here to make them. But nah, I'm writing this. I'm writing this little fantasy novel. I'm writing three different stories at the current moment. Um, I'll explain in one moment. One is just your regular fantasy kind of novel, right? Except there are two themes: humans going into this land of beasts and stuff, right? And colonizing. And it's going to be quite peaceful before they get there, and they're going to meet everybody, and each step of the way it's going to be a mess for everybody, and they're going to create a big empire. But the theme of the story is a duality that belongs between two people. I mean, three different groups of two different people. Granted, throughout time. Um, and it's essentially just gonna go through all the problems that humans bring to this magical realm, right? Of course, there's gonna be some cool things. Another one I'm working on, vampires, right? They're immortal. Hello. Um, how would an immortal being respond to something like addiction? You know what I mean? So that's kind of what the premise of that book is going to be. I'm calling it corporate vampirism. I'm quite fond of the name. If I'm being completely honest, it kind of just struck me one day. But essentially, it's your run of the mill. You got this main character plunged into becoming a vampire. That's no different than a lot of things, correct? But the idea is all the other vampires That's what that. Bless. You know, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it. Um, yeah, no, thank you for joining nonetheless. Back on the topic though, I want to answer the question, I feel like a vampire could be addicted. I feel like there's still a shred of humanity left in, I guess, what would be immortal blood. You'd think that would take over fully. Maybe it does. Because the main, like, one of the characters, for example, um, no, I'm sorry. The master vampire, the one who leads the court. The reason he turns the main character into a vampire, the reason he does it is because that's the only way he can die. Is that he wants this dude to kill him, but he needs someone more powerful than him to kill him. And so there's a moral dilemma there because the main guy doesn't want to kill him. Dude, this shit's fucked up. Fucked up. There's nothing I can do without ending the stream. I'm debating whether it's just because I have this stuff open. Regardless of the fact, I don't know what to talk about anymore. So, and I'm fairly getting there, getting tired. Trying to resist the urge to do some stupid things, you know what I mean? I could just devolve into debauchery. I don't plan to do that tonight. It is only Tuesday. However, I do have... The plan was to go to bed early today, right? Yeah, right. That's not happening. There's no monster behind me. Maybe there is. You know what? That monster better run from me. Power of Christ repels him. I totally lost my train of thought. Yasuke. That's how you say Yasuke. I played some Assassin's Creed motherfucking Shadows. Damn. Yeah, that game kind of was cool at first, and then I was like, they kind of fucked it up. They tried to make it all real at first, and then immediately it devolved into not real. I became an assassin freak, though. An assassin freak with no business being in Japan. That's what I gotta say. I should have went back to Spain. I'm gonna take off, everybody. Gnarly. That cracks me up. Yeah. I don't have much more to say right now. I kind of just did this as a experimentation. Normally, what I should have done was, like, I started journaling. I'll say this. I recommend it. It sounds like some lame stuff. Don't get me wrong. I had that same initial impression. I was like, you know what? Am I really going to take the time to, like, write about my day? Well, granted, I started doing just that. What a beautiful thing that is. You know how many things you forget during your day? Especially the good things. You forget the good things during your day. You don't even forget the bad things. The bad things stick with you. And that's why you got to keep a journal. albeit I'm not very good at it. The last time I did it was the 3rd of November, and it's the 11th today. Hola, ¿cómo estás? How's it going? I'm actually going to bye-bye.